Capture the Flag is a popular children's game, at least that's how it's seen in the United States, although it has expanded beyond the schoolyard, as seen with some other games having Capture the Flag elements available for people to play as seen in Gaslands and Halo. But with that said, Capture the Flag can be seen in games such as Luzhanqi centuries before it ever appeared upon elementary schoolyards. Greetings and welcome back to Checkpoint Gaming, Chess. As mentioned in the previous episode, there are 2 other iterations of chess native to China that we'll be looking at here. With the second iteration, it is that of Luzhanqi, which is also known as Junqi, land battle chess, and Chinese army chess. In order to win the game, the player will have to capture the flag that is found upon the board. Found on the board, there are some markings present. With the soldier station, it is an ordinary playing space where pieces are able to move on and off of these spots, along with being able to attack while found upon them. With the camp, it is a safety circle where a piece that is found upon it is unable to be attacked. With the headquarters, there are 2 of them, one on each side, with one headquarters possessing the flag. With the front line, it marks the divide between the 2 sides of the board, with the pieces not being able to land on these squares. Instead, they just pass over them. What this basically means is that once a player's piece lands upon a frontline square, they won't stay upon said square. They move to their corresponding square on the board found on the other side of the dividing line. With the mountain border, it represents 2 obstacles that are standing on the dividing line of the board with the pieces not being able to move onto or over said squares, thus forcing the player to pass over the front line. With line, it is when pieces move from one playing square to the other. And finally, with railroad, it is when any given piece is allowed to move any number of squares along a continuous line. With an engineer, it has the ability to travel around the railroad corners as well. With the rank of each piece, going from 1 to 9, they consist of the following: Field Marshal, General, Lieutenant General, Brigadier, Colonel, Major, Captain, Platoon Commander, and Engineer. When it comes to that of the piece count, it consists of the following. There is 1 Field Marshal, 1 General, 2 Lieutenant Generals, 2 Brigadiers, 2 Colonels, 2 Majors, 3 Captains, 3 Platoon Commanders, and 3 Engineers. Regarding the engineer, it is the only piece that is able to destroy a landmine without being destroyed in the process. That's what you get for being properly trained in something. You know how to preserve your own life. In addition to this, as mentioned earlier, it is able to continue along the railroad tracks, even if it went around a corner. With the grenade, it doesn't possess a rank. There are 2 copies of it, and its role is to destroy any piece that attacks it. But in order to fulfill this role, the grenade will have to destroy itself, which makes sense since grenades are a one-use item in real life, so why not have them be one-use items in the game as well? They can be seen as kamikaze pilots or suicide bombers of the game. With the landmine, it doesn't possess a rank, and there are 3 copies of it. Like its namesake, this piece doesn't move and will destroy any piece that just so happens to attack it. The exception is the engineer, of course, for reasons addressed earlier. It also gets destroyed when attacked, for it wouldn't be much of an explosive if it didn't. Finally, with the flag, it doesn't have a rank, and there is 1 copy of it. The flag doesn't move, and when a player attacks it, they win the game. When setting up for the game, each player is to place their 25 pieces on the soldier stations and headquarters squares that are found upon their side of the board. But with that said, no piece is allowed to begin the game within the camp circles. With their placement, it's done in such a way that each player is able to identify their own pieces but prevent their opponent from doing the same. With the arrangement of the pieces, they have no set placement, granting the players the ability to arrange the pieces however they like. This allows the players to engage in strategic placement during the game's setup. When placing the flag, it is to be done in one of the 2 headquarter squares. With the landmines, they'll have to be placed in the 2 ranks that are found closest to the rank that possesses the headquarters. And when it comes to that of the grenades, although the players probably don't want them placed anywhere upon the board, they'll have to be placed with the stipulation being that they can't be placed upon the first rank. At the start of the game, each player begins by making a move, followed by them taking turns moving a piece upon the board. With all of the pieces that are ranked 1 through 9, along with the grenades, they're to move along a single line, but only as far as the very next square. This includes the soldier station, camp, and headquarters. But when found upon the railroad, these pieces get to move any number of squares as the player desires, as long as they stay on a single line and without passing over any of the other pieces. The exception to this has to do with the engineer, which was touched upon earlier. As long as its path is unobstructed, the engineer can move around a corner any number of spaces that are linked by a railroad and turning as many corners as the player likes. It is worth noting that neither the landmines nor the flag are capable of moving, causing them to remain in place until they are attacked. When it comes to that of capturing, if the attacking piece outranks the other piece, then it will be able to capture it, thus causing the captured piece to be removed from the board and the capturing piece occupying the space. It is worth noting that the highest rank is that of 1 and the lowest rank is that of 9. But if the pieces are of equal rank, then both of them get removed from the board. And with the grenade, if it gets attacked by another piece, or it is the one doing the attacking, then both of them get removed from the board. When it comes to that of attacking a landmine, if it is done by any piece other than that of an engineer, then both pieces get removed from the board. But if the engineer is the one doing the capturing, then only the landmine is removed with the engineer remaining upon the board. But if any piece is found within a camp space, they are safe and are unable to be attacked. With all of that said, it is recommended that a referee is on hand to supervise the game, who is to determine if piece removal occurs during any given attack. This is because each player is never allowed to see or are ever told the identities of the opposing pieces, thus creating a level of mystery and intrigue during the game. This holds true even when trying to capture, so it's the referee's job to compare the pieces to see what happens. Since we come from a universalist culture here at Checkpoint Gaming, we hope that the referee is unbiased and doesn't favor one player or another. But knowing that China tends to be a particularist culture, we understand that the referee from China, due to ingrained cultural norms, may favor one player over another, either intentionally or not, due to personally knowing one of the players or one player possesses greater social standing than the referee. But if there isn't a referee available, then the game is to proceed normally until an attack is to occur, which sees the players temporarily showing the identity of their respective pieces. This is done in order to determine what the outcome of the attack is going to be. Although a little less mysterious, it is a necessary action if no referee is present. With everything that we covered, it is worth noting that there are variants to this given iteration of the game, which is dependent upon geographical location. So if you would like us to cover variants to this iteration of chess, and we get enough variant suggestions, we'll do a follow-up episode touching upon this. So with that said, that is what you need to know about Luzhanqi. With that taken care of, we can start talking Sichuan. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes we upload, go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.